Um, oh, actually, I think you can hear me now, but I'm getting some feedback. So let me just double check right now. Am I coming in loud and clear? I think so. I'm not sure if you were hearing me, so I'm going to go ahead and back on up. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining tonight. It's a real pleasure having you here. And if there is some technical difficulties, we're still working through that. But I wanted to take a moment to observe, the fact that this is October 1st, and it is on the same day as the Route 91 Harvest Festival that shooting that took place in Las Vegas last year, and 58 people lost their lives, 581 people were injured in a horrific, horrific, tragic mass shooting, the worst in U.S. history. And I was just saying that, in times like this, so many people come together and they really, show their strength. Jason Aldean being one of them, who was on stage when the bullets started flying. He came back a week later and he ended up visiting the families that were healing and helped heal their hearts, helped heal their souls. And we're going to help and we're going to remember and hope that everybody's that was involved or was there that day, that their hearts and their souls and their physical bodies will continue to heal. And so anyway, I don't know if any of you have seen, I don't know if any of you have seen the news recently with Lindsay Lohan. It was a kind of a funny Instagram thing. It was actually really bizarre the other night. It was, I guess they weren't really clear where she was exactly. I think it might have been Russia or someplace else, but she was accusing this family of trafficking children. They were a homeless family. Now, I don't know if it was true or not. I mean, it's a horrible thing that happens. And if she was doing the right thing, then hey, great. But at the same time, I couldn't help but think, what if she was wrong? It seemed like the woman literally went off and just hauled off and punched her in the face. Now, I couldn't help but think about my own kids and think about, if there was somebody trying to actually physically take my child from me. I don't know, man. All bets might be off. But anyway, I think I don't know where she was, but I know she's been all over the place. She's got this hotel that's taking place in, I believe it's in Greece somewhere. And, good for her. But I also had read that she was designing an island in Dubai. And, if you've ever seen those islands in Dubai, there's this really ornate palm tree one. And so, I couldn't help but think if Lindsay was designing an island, it probably looks like a train wreck. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, there was also in the news this Uber situation. But I mean, it's been ongoing. I'm kind of curious to find out what you guys feel about Uber and what you feel about Lyft. I use the service personally all the time, but at the same time, I'm always kind of looking through a side eye, wondering, is this person legit? Are they selling drugs out of the back of their trunk? Are they going to kill me? And I'm kind of wondering, like what was your thoughts on Uber? Do you feel safe getting in the cars? Our parents taught us don't get in cars with strangers, but we're getting in cars all the time with strangers. So, but yes, so tell me about what you think about that. And I was just watching the Graham Norton show, and I love talk shows. As you can tell, that I've chose this medium to be able to do my first talk show. YouTube is so important these days to so many. I mean, we use it for fixing things around the house. We use it for checking in on, as my son would. He loves watching gaming. It's so big, it's so massive, it's so universal. I thought, well, this would be a great way for me to launch my first show. And I'm really excited. I'm excited that everybody's joining me here tonight. I see a lot of people, and I'm sure, I see Michael Mortimer says, I use Uber all the time, no fear. And Judy Goldfarb says, I'd like an island in Dubai. Yeah, who wouldn't? So it sounds like we're up and running. Everything's working pretty good now. But I was watching this talk show, the Graham Norton show, and I'm not sure if you know it or not, but if you do, it's hilarious. It's on the BBC. Graham is always doing some sort of crazy antics. And of course, all the celebrities and musicians and guest stars and people that are on there always seem to have an amazing time. It's great. But Ryan Gosling was on there the other day, and he said that he was nervous to say Neil Armstrong's famous line in the new movie that's coming out in the biopic on Neil Armstrong. And he said he was nervous to say this line. And honestly, I gotta say, if I was Ryan Gosling, I'd be pretty nervous too, because you know the line we're all talking about. You know what he was saying, but there was always that bit of interference that was there, and this is one small step for man, one for mankind. And so I don't blame the guy at all, because I would have been asking the writers, well, what did he really say? Did anybody really get the interview? I know Neil has gone on record saying that, he said one thing, and then a lot of people have said, well, he said another. Tell me what you think he said. Let me take a few comments here. Pam P says, I don't like my daughter using Uber. Robin D, I haven't used Uber yet due to concern. My adult children use it all the time. I can't, it is a tricky, because sometimes I've been picked up in some hoopties. I'll tell you what, you expect some of the cars to be, a little bit nicer and clean, but, I've seen some that are 3 different colors and, smell like cigarettes. So sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a bad one. Gail Keefe says, Neil Armstrong is one of my favorite heroes of all time. Lindsay Albright, Graham is hilarious. I have lost hours of my day watching episodes on his show. So true. I just saw the trailer for the Paramount movie Rocket Man, starring Taron Egerton. He's playing Elton John in the biopic. And of course, it's going to be, everything that Elton John's always talked about, the drugs and the rock and roll. But such an interesting human being, such an interesting humanitarian. And I'm just really excited to see this, this biopic. And we've got so many of these biopics that are coming out this year. There's the Queen biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody, December 25th is coming out. And has anybody seen Tom Hanks in this new photo playing Mr. Rogers? I mean, it's eerie. It's so spooky. He looks so great. He looks so much like Mr. Rogers. And, I have a little story to tell, because I was lucky enough many, many years ago. I was at the Emmys, and I had the pleasure of meeting Fred Rogers. And he was so kind, and he was exactly the way that you would think he was. And I remember listening to his acceptance speech, and it was so moving and so powerful. I have to tell you, there wasn't a dry eye in the audience. It was so heartfelt, and you knew how much it meant to him, molding and helping children's lives and letting them know that they have a friend. And so I'm really excited about seeing that that biopic. And that brings me on to the next subject, which there's a lot of musicals that are based on, famous acts. And of course, one of them, which is Jersey Boys, which I've seen, I think, 3-4 times. Love that show. And currently, Donna Summer, that's on Broadway right now. And this fall, Cher and the Temptations are coming. And I want to let you know that I am going to be having plenty of guests from musicals on Broadway in the coming episodes of Daytime After Dark. Now, I want to ask you, because I think I know who I'd like to see a biopic of, is Tom Petty. I've seen, different documentaries, one by the great Oscar Award winner Peter Bogdanovich called Running Down a Dream. If you haven't seen that, go see it. It's such a great journey you get to go through Tom Petty's career. But I think it would be really awesome to see one. So who would you like to see a biopic of? Let's see. Beverly Davis. Yes, Tom Hanks looks just like him. Yeah, it was cool. It's very cool. I'm so glad he's taken on that project. And let's see. Neon Dreams. My big bro always watched Mr. Rogers every day. Yeah, so did I. Kenneth Clark says John McCook. So, some of my interviews, we have a very special interview tonight with Daren Kagasoff, and some of them are going to be live. Some of them are going to be in studio, which I've got one coming up in a couple weeks with my good friend Trent Garrett, who's currently on the show, Andy Mack. He's going to be live in studio. And then others are going to have to be pre-recorded. And as you know, actors' lives, musicians' lives, they're very busy. So a lot of times we'll have to pre-record. And that happened to be the case with Daren because he's currently in New York City. And tonight, October 1st, or today and tonight, he's starting his new show, The Village, on NBC. And it sounds great. And I want to go ahead and introduce Daren Kagasoff and the interview right now. So here he is, without further ado, Daren Kagasoff. It's really good to see you.
Yeah, I know, dude. You too. It's been a long time, but I'm glad we're able to do this.
Yeah, man. I'm super stoked to have you on the first show. I mean, it's already getting a lot of traction. I think Roku's going to want to start running these as well, as another platform to run these interviews, which is really cool. It's exciting. So, but anyway, man, I've got some questions. I've got some questions from folks that have been calling in and are chatting with me about, and they want to know more about you because you got such an exciting thing that's happening right now. You just moved from Los Angeles to New York, and tell us about that.
Yeah, man, it's been a whirlwind, to be quite honest, but in a good way. Making the transition here, we shot the pilot like 5 months ago, and we were here for a month, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. And we're waiting to see if the show got picked up, and it did. So the excitement was just, you can't really describe it. And then, you really have to start thinking that, I got to relocate. I've lived in LA my whole life. And I mean, it was one of the biggest moves I've ever had. So it's been absolutely awesome, man. Like, I'm finally settled. I love my castmates. We start shooting next week, and I'm just thankful and grateful to be in this beautiful city doing what I love.
Yeah, man, it sounds exciting. And for everybody that doesn't know, this is the new NBC pilot that's been picked up called The Village. And Daren, you're playing a lawyer, is that correct?
Yeah, right now it's, I'm playing a law student. He's kind of juggling trying to become a lawyer, and also I have a grandfather in the show played by Dominic Chianese, and if anybody knows, he was Uncle Junior in The Sopranos.
Tough guys.
And we've got, tough guys. And we just have the funniest relationship in the show. He's 87 years old. I think he's the oldest series regular that's going to be on TV. And he's just as sharp as a tack, just the funniest guy. And we have such great material together. So I just can't wait to get on the set and start working with him again.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see it, and I'm sure everybody out there can't wait to see it also. That's The Village on NBC. It's going to be premiering in the spring of 2019, and it's going to be really exciting. But, hey, man, I want to go back in time a little bit. The Secret Life of an American Teenager, which, now you're going to be appealing to the moms, but I think you've been appealing to the daughters for some time. You played on that show. You were Ricky Underwood, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell us about that. How was your experience on there?
It was awesome. It was such a great experience doing that show. I mean, it was my first job, so it was my first time, actually stepping on a set, and for us to do 121 episodes, and we did it for 5 years. I made some great relationships with some great people there, and I'll always, it'll always have like a special place in my heart because not only was it my first job, but it was, like I said, just met great people who are still my dear friends. And Brenda Hampton, we still keep in contact, and I just, as a mentor and just as a person, she's absolutely amazing.
Well, you just took my next question out, which was, do you stay in touch with your castmates? Because a lot of people go, it's a cliche. We're a family, we're friends. But when you work so closely, and it was on for 5 seasons, I believe, right?
Yes,
You worked so closely for 5 years. I mean, you get to know everybody. You get to know the good and the bad.
Yeah, let me tell you, or I won't tell you the bad, but no, for the most part, I mean, I can't even lie. Everybody was just good people. And, everybody, this business is so odd. It kind of takes you in so many different directions. And, for the most part, we've all kept in contact, and we've all supported each other through our different, endeavors that we're pursuing. And I'm a lucky guy to have great relationships still with these people.
Yeah. And you won a Teen Choice Award for that.
I did. Yeah, I did. That was, God, it feels like ages ago. Well, it was like 10 years ago. Yeah, I did. I forgot about that.
Testimony to your talent, brother. It's a wonderful thing. So
thank you, brother.
So I mean, I want to switch gears just for a second. Darren and we've known each other for a little while, and we go back all the way up to where were we? We were in Helsinki,
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
Yeah. Copenhagen, yeah.
It was
there.
It was all a blur.
Monte Carlo. It was it was a blur, but we had some of the best times I've had in my life. I mean, thankfully, for me, I met you out there. I think that was the first time we met. And the stories that I could tell, which, I think I'm going to keep them in my heart and in my brain right now, but I just had a blast with you, brother. And ever since then, we've always kept in touch and been very close friends. And I'm thankful for our relationship, truly.
And played golf together?
Yes, sir. Played golf. I played like shit that day. Oh, God, I remember that. We got to get back out there again.
We have to, man. I know how important it is to you, and it is to me as well. And there's some great courses not far from you. You just gotta venture out into the to New Jersey and some of the the Long Island areas. But I played a ton of them out there, so you should definitely get back out.
I'm excited.
And speaking, I was looking at some of your old facts on maybe it was on Wikipedia, but you played baseball in high school, huh?
Yes, sir. Baseball player. I played ball since I was a young kid, and still to this day I miss it tremendously. I just miss the competition, the camaraderie between the teammates, and mainly just the competition, and getting out there and smelling that grass and throwing the ball around. I miss it.
Yeah. Well, I understand that. I love baseball. I played baseball myself. My son is playing baseball, and he played 3 different leagues this year. He's actually getting pretty good. I'm starting to think, man, if he stays with it, maybe there might be a scholarship in his future.
Hey, like father, like son. You know,
man. Who knows? Well, we're coming up on the Halloween season, and I wanted to remind the fans that you were in the movie Ouija, which was produced by Michael Bay, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Which grossed over $100 million. $100 million. That's obviously it was a great movie. I enjoyed it very much. How was that? How was that to work on?
It was amazing. That was my first movie, and to be able to work with that team, it was just such a fun experience. I mean, the shoot was kind of difficult because we had to go back. We finished the movie, and then they wanted to do reshoots. So I think we did 3 weeks of reshoots after, which was fine. And I think we were all pretty happy with how the movie turned out. And of course, when it came out, I think it came out the Halloween weekend. It was #1 at the box office. So, to have my first movie be #1 at the box office was absolutely just, you can't describe it. It's just crazy. You never think in your wildest dreams that, let alone you're going to be cast in a movie, and then it's #1 at the box office.
Well, I think there's going to be many movies in your future. You're so talented.
Thank you. I hope.
I know it. I know it. It's funny because I have a lot of fans that approach me for certain things or ask me, and they recognize me from certain shows and whatnot. What do the fans recognize you most from?
Probably from this porno that I did a few years ago.
I thought I recognized you.
No, definitely Secret Life of the American Teenager. I mean, we did so many episodes, and when I'm clean shaven, I think I don't necessarily look like the character because I've aged so poorly, but
Oh, no, you haven't.
but yeah, I mean, I'm most, that's the main thing that people know me for. So it's usually, Ricky, so hopefully that'll change to Gabe, because that's my character's name in the Village. But I'm always, it doesn't matter. I'm flattered that people know me. It's
Well,
awesome.
it's going to just become more and more rabid fans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. I had a couple other things. This is always a great question because people ask me all these, over these years, they've asked me the exact same thing. And being an actor, what first made you want to decide to be an actor?
It's funny. I went to San Francisco State for college, and originally I thought, I was going to be a baseball player. I thought that was going to be in the cards, and I went to school there for about a year, and I had a great experience, but there was something, like my intuition kind of telling me that there was something else out there for me. I couldn't necessarily find what I wanted to do. And, I got advice from, friends, exes, at the time saying, you need to, pursue something else or, go back to LA. And I can't really tell you like specifically like what made me want to do it. I just remember not going to class ever the last like semester of college, and I'd just sit on a bench and I'd watch people, walk by, and I'd kind of mimic their personality like by myself. I know it sounds psychotic, but that's just what I would do. That would be fun to me. And then I said, I was young enough at the time. I think I was 20 or turning 20. And I remember calling my mom and dad saying, I can't do this anymore. I didn't want to take business management classes. And I think I've just always been kind of a creative, and I wasn't getting it there, especially in the subjects that I was taking. So, coming home, I got into an acting class, and I remember the first time I got into the class, like I've never felt this feeling throughout my body ever. And I knew that it was right, whether, and I had no idea if I'd work or anything like that. I had no idea about the business, but I just knew the way that it made me feel, and it made me feel amazing. And that's why I continued to pursue it and continue with the acting classes, and then eventually got an agent and a manager. And I guess now the rest is history.
I think everybody else is feeling that same thing, and I guess it was your calling, man, because you're kicking ass and you're taking numbers, and everybody's loving you, and NBC's loving you now, and everybody's going to be loving watching The Village. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in. It's going to be out the spring of 2019. Check out my good friend Daren Kagasoff. He's super talented, and he's not hard on the eyes. All right, buddy. It was great catching up with you.
Dude, it's beyond a pleasure. Thank you so much, Jacob. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, brother.
All right,
Take
bye.
care.
And that was Daren Kagasoff. We're back at Daytime After Dark. I hope you all enjoyed that interview. It was a pleasure seeing him. I'm so proud of him. So make sure, do your due diligence for me and check out The Village when it's out. I know he's been working really hard, and so is the cast. I have a big announcement to make. It's not that big, but it's a big announcement. I know I've said that we're going to be doing this every Monday night. Now, when I said that early on, I forgot that my son Luke's Boy Scouts is really at the same time. And right now, my lovely wife is with him at Scouts. And, she's sick as a dog. Speaking of which, kids go back to school right now, and they bring home all those germs and viruses, and it has run rampant through my house. I don't know about yours. But anyway, the big announcement is that I'm going to have to move the day. Now, I'm not sure. I haven't decided. It's either going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, but I need to be there for Scouts just in case Lindsay Lohan shows up. No, but I would like for you to poll the audience and see what days you guys think would be best. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It'll be the same exact time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But give me some ideas, and we'll try to poll it and see, who works the best for everybody, and I will move it to that day. But I also, no matter what day it's going to be, whether it's October 9th, 10th, or 11th, that's the following week, this next week, I'm going to be in Los Angeles, so I'm going to be out of the studio doing a live YouTube streaming session. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be, but it's going to be a surprise. So, make sure that you tune in then. And make sure, you leave your comments on the YouTube channel if you like it, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to start asking, answering some of these questions that you guys are leaving up here in some of the comments. But make sure, you leave some comments on my YouTube channel, because all the videos are going to live on YouTube. So if you missed it, or if you want to see something again, or you want to show your friends and just brag that I got back to your comments, please do so, and have your friends tune in and be a part of the next show. And here's something interesting too, because in the next coming weeks, I'm not sure how many of you use Roku, but Roku has, I think, over 100 million subscribers. It's outperforming Amazon at the moment. But I have just signed a deal where all of these videos are also going to be on my own channel on Roku. So the same exact content will be on Roku, so you can always stream it on there as well. I'm very excited about that. And let me go back and go ahead and see some of these comments. Not Thursdays, please. Pam says not Thursday. Wednesday works for me, Candace Mack says. Kenneth Clark says Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday, because a lot of us watch the football games, yes. Wednesday. Wow, we're getting a lot of Wednesdays. That's good. John Murray says a glass of wine would totally complete this experience. I think I may grab one real quick. Oh, thanks a lot. Grab one for me, too, while you're at it. Okay, yeah. So, anyway, but make sure, you join me next week live out of the studio in Los Angeles. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you have any more questions right now for me, please feel free to ask. I'm going to be hanging around for a little bit longer. Just not Tuesday. Okay. All right. That's Steve Friedman says, just not Tuesday. Okay. We understand on the day change. Family has to come first. Well, thank you very much. That's from Garen Groom. Candace Mack and I are busy doing the soap show on Take Two Radios on Thursdays. Yes, and make sure you check out Take Two Radio. You guys are fantastic on there. I love doing interviews with you. They have such great talent that comes on there. Robin D says, when you and Daren met, did you work on a film TV project? No, actually, interesting story. He was actually dating Jackie Wood from The Bold and the Beautiful. And oddly enough, Daren and I, our birthdays are like 5 days apart from each other. So we had very similar personalities to begin with. And we just hit it off. We were inseparable for almost 2 weeks from Helsinki. I think Jackie was getting a little bit jealous. Maybe had a little bit of a man crush. No, he's just a good guy, great talent, and I love surrounding myself with good people. Did you know B&B still uses your pick in the opening credits? That's what Garen Groom says. Yes, I do. They typically keep those on for some time until they decide to not. I don't know why they are. I think they're supposed to pay me for stuff like that. If they're still using my image. Be completely frank with you guys, and that's what this is about. It's free form. It's not really pulling any punches. It's not exactly PG-13, but we're gonna try to be as honest as possible. Any chance you'll be making an appearance on B&B? Good question, Jason Stuckless. Honestly, they have not contacted me. I said that I would be there for them if they needed me. They didn't need me at Hope's wedding, which was really odd to me. And then recently. Ingo Rademacher's character Thorn just got married, which you think I'd be at my brother's wedding as well, but that didn't happen. So don't hold your breath. But there's other things that are coming up. Like I said, I'll be shooting a film. This will be my 4th film this year. So 2018 is shaped up pretty good. I think my 2019 will be even more exciting when those films start coming out and you guys all get a chance to see them. Can any of your former co-stars Oh, Chriselle sing country. Can she sing country? Well, she's always told, I remember her telling stories while we all worked together that she has one of the worst voices. And I think she openly admits to that. And Trillion Management, which is my management company, said, well, they better pay. Nice. Neon Dreams. Enjoyed your show tonight, Jacob. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. James Friend. Tuesday, Jacob. I have band rehearsal on Wednesday. I can understand that. Well, we'll figure out the date. I'll continue to listen to your guys' polls, and we'll definitely. Oh, I'm in love with the album, Elizabeth Harriet says. Thank you for that. The EP is out right now. If you all haven't obviously seen my billion posts on it, but I'm very proud of it. My good friend Steve Freeman and I put that together. Make sure you watch his show, which is currently on Tuesday nights. He's on YouTube. Great show, interesting subject matter about production and what it takes to make it in as a musician. He's definitely an expertise on the subject. He's dealt with so many great artists over the years. It's a really great show, especially if you're interested in getting into music or producing music or just understanding a little bit about the music industry in general. If it's B&B's loss, Gail says, Gail Keefe, it's B&B's loss. I started watching the show because of you. I was missing you from All My Children. Well, thank you. I miss All My Children. I have yet to be on a show that has had such a real tight niche. We really loved each other. It was just a wonderful cast, and I think it radiated on screen as well as off screen. Everybody felt special about that show. Still to this day, I can't understand why it ever went off the air. It was such a wonderful time in my life, and really, really excited about that. Cindy, she says next month is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and I was wondering if you could do something for epilepsy. It's not being talked about enough. I absolutely will. We'll mention something on one of the next month's shows. And definitely, is there a particular charity that you'd like me to mention? Please post that here if you'd like. John Murney, who would you like to sing a duet with? Like your dream compilation? Well, there's so many great artists out there. I don't even know where to begin. But that is a good question. I'd have to think on that for a little while. When will you come back to New York to perform again? Well, I'm going to be I might be in New York, but I'm going to be in the Massachusetts area, just north of Hartford, Connecticut. I have an appearance at one of the malls there, October 20th, and I'm actually going to be doing a few songs. So if anybody wants to make it up in there, the tri-state area, I will definitely be up that way. You can look it up online. It's definitely online. I'm forgetting which mall it is, but they do a lot of appearances there, a lot of WWE and different personalities. Kenneth Clark says, you and David Canary were great in scenes together. Now, I have to tell you, I've been blessed to have such great screen fathers on all three of the shows that I've done. David Canary, by far, brought his A game every single day, but not only was he just an amazing talent, he was an amazing, amazing human being. He taught me so much, and just his energy alone made you rise to the occasion. He was just such a sweet man, such a great talent. Obviously playing two characters for years, Stuart and Adam. Just a real genius, and he's incredibly missed. Do you have air dates of any of the movies that you have filmed yet? Robin D says, yes, February 2019. The film I did with Krista B. We're doing that. I think it's coming out February 2019. It's going to be out Faithfully. That's a Lifetime film. It's really, really well shot. It was a great project to be a part of. I had a great time shooting it. Of course, I played a bad guy. I'm pretty good at playing bad guys. Elise Repass, cool first interview and show. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Will you ever come to Holland? Well, gosh, I hope so. Karina asked me that. David Canary was a wonderful actor and loved man, Suzanne Cranmer says. Michael Mortimer says, I love your friendship with Scott Reeves. It's awesome to see. Yeah, he's an amazing talent. I love the fact that, I've always admired his musical ability. And we became friends years and years ago when he was on Young and the Restless. I was on Bold and the Beautiful. All right. Well, listen, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please join me next week for the live out of the studio in Los Angeles, and then join me every week right here on Daytime After Dark. Y'all have a good night.